Good morning, third grade. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get started for the day. So let's first look at our learning target. Our learning target for today is that I can use details from the text to answer questions about the text. So today, all we're really doing here is reading through a nonfiction text, something that is real and it is telling me factual information, and being able to go back to it to help find my answers. Not just taking guesses, but being able to say, this is where I found my answer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be learning about volcanoes today. I love volcanoes. They're super exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. You should be following along, reading out loud with me if you can. And if not, your eyes should be following along as I am reading. All right? When I say eruption, an eruption is when magma reaches Earth's surface and then it can be very explosive. So it's erupting. So our first thing is mountains of fire. Ash and steam pour out of the mountain. Hot melted rock rises up inside the mountain. Suddenly, a spray of glowing hot ash shoots out. It is an eruption, like this. More melted rock is forced out. It spills down the side of the volcano in a burning hot river. Anything that cannot move is buried or burned. Okay. So here is a picture, a real life picture of one of those happening. I have a question. What did the volcano eat for lunch? Ashed potatoes. Like mashed potatoes, but ash. Okay. All right. So now this here is not a true photograph, but this is an illustration. This is a drawing for us to help see what's going on here. So when magma comes out of the earth, it is called lava. So when this is the chamber or the bottom of it, and this is just melted rock that's super hot, and this is underground. When it comes out of the volcano and it comes up, boom, then it becomes lava. And the lava then hardens and ash and rock pile up, and that's how a volcano is born. When all of this rock gets built up and the lava's here, and then it's sitting there. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, it is hot, super hot. Hot enough to melt rock. When rock melts, it becomes a thick liquid called magma. Sometimes it puddles together in a magma chamber, which is what you see down here. Sometimes it finds cracks to travel through. And if the magma travels through a crack to the surface, the place it comes out is called a vent. So sometimes it says, oh, I see this little thing over here, I'm going to come through it, and that's a little vent. And this is a real example of it here. Now we're going to talk about shaky plates. So we live on Earth, and Earth has a little bit of some plates underneath that we're going to talk about. So where do the cracks and vents in the Earth come from? We have cracks in the Earth, like right here you see in this picture. Here's a big crack in the Earth. So that's a crack in the ground that you don't want to go near because you could fall through. Well, the land we live on is broken into different pieces called plates. And the plates fit in Earth like a puzzle. So one plate goes here, the other plate comes here, and they all fit nicely together. They're always moving a few inches a year. And when plates pull apart or smash together, you better watch out. So they're all moving. We don't feel it because it's so tiny of a movement, but they are moving each time. Here's a picture over here of Earth. We're up here in North America, South America, Africa, Europe. And here you see these lines. These are the plates. These are the different types of plates and where they meet. So one place where Earth's plates smash together is called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is right here, this one. And it's the longest mountain range on Earth, and most of it is underwater though, because this is the ocean, but it's underground, so you can't really see the mountains. an island is born. So what happens when two plates pull apart? I have two plates and they're going away from each other. Well, they're going to make a giant crack in the earth because now there's no ground there. So magma can rise up through these cracks, and this even happens underwater. It's that hot. So about 60 million years ago, an underwater volcano poured out so much lava that it made new land. The lava turned cold and froze up and became an island. So a huge island grew right in the middle of the ocean. And lava formed the country of Iceland. So Iceland was born because of these plates moving apart. About 50 years ago, people saw smoke coming out of the ocean near Iceland, and a new island was being born right before their eyes. They called it Surtsey, after the Norse god of fire. So this can still happen today. It can still go through and become different things. The Ring of Fire. Now this is pretty intense. So we live in North America, right? We live over here where my pointer is. We live on the eastern side of it. But towards the west, where California is, and all around here, it's called the Ring of Fire. And we'll talk about that in a second. So what happens when plates bump into each other? So we just talked about how when they go apart, they could build a new island. But what happens when they bump into each other, they knock in? Well, a mountain maybe will be pushed a little higher because if that ground's already there and pushing it up, 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 up. Maybe a volcano will erupt. And there may even be an earthquake or a tsunami or both. An earthquake is when the ground is shaking and the tsunami is with the actual water. Now, the edge of the Pacific plate is grinding or like moving those plates around it. And this is called the Ring of Fire here. And many of Earth's earthquakes and volcanoes happen right here in the Ring of Fire. So you'll see all these active volcanoes, all these mountains, and the Earth's plates are the lines and things like that. Here are some different places where you might see some volcanoes. In Indonesia, in Kamchatka, Ecuador, Washington State in the United States. See, those are just some big ones. Now you can meet a volcano 3. I'm not going to read through this, but you can pause and read it yourself if you would like. So I will show you each of these. Okay. So a cone volcano has straight sides and tall, steep slopes. These volcanoes have really beautiful eruptions. Hot ash and rock shoot high into the air and lava flows from the cone. One day, a cone volcano started erupting in a field in Mexico here, and it erupted for 9 years. 9 years it was erupting. And when it stopped, it was almost as high as the Empire State Building. And that is called Paracutin. And that's what this looks like right here. Okay. A stratovolcano, though, is like a layer cake. You know, a cake, you might have some mousse, then you might have the cake, then you might have some ganache. Am I making you hungry yet? Because I'm hungry. So a stratovolcano is like a layer cake. First, the lava shoots out and kind of coats the mountain. And then rock and ash come out. And then more lava. And then it builds up with more layers of lava, rock, ash. And it kind of just keeps going. There's a myth about Vulcan, which is the Roman god of fire and iron. He, they say, lived under Vulcan Island near Mount Etna, which is right here in Italy. And every time that Vulcan pounded his hammer, a volcano erupted. So the word volcano comes from the name Vulcan. So that's how volcanoes got their name. All right. Let's go ahead and look at a couple questions, and then we will be all set. So first question, ladies, when magma comes out of the earth, what is it called? Is it called lava, melted rock, ash, or steam? When magma comes out of the earth, what is it called? And then I want to be able to say I found my answer on page whatever, or I found my answer here, okay? So I'm going to come down and I'm going to go back a little bit for us. I want you to go ahead and I want you to look and see which one is the correct answer. When magma comes out of the earth, what is it called? Pause the video and find your answer. So you have your answer. That you should pause the video so it doesn't keep going. So when I am looking through this, magma comes out of the earth, and it says right here, when magma comes out of the earth, it is called lava. So that would be my answer. My answer is lava. So that is correct. So I'm just going to underline it so that I know that that's right. And where did we find our answer? We found our answer on page 5. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see down there, but it's page 5. So that I might write down here on page 5. And Princeton and Harvard, you should be familiar. We've done this type of thing before where we write down what paragraph we found it in or what page or things like that. All right, now let's look at question number 2. What happens when 2 plates pull apart? Nothing. There's an earthquake. They make a giant crack in the earth. A volcano erupts. Think about it. Take your hands and hold them next to each other. They're right next to each other and they're touching. What's going to happen when you pull them away from each other? Are they touching anymore? No. So there's a space in between them, right? And what would happen in that space? What would happen in that space? Pause the video and find your answer. All right, if you're back, that means you should have an answer. You looked through and you thought about this. Now, if I'm seeing right here, it says, what happens when 2 plates pull apart? Oh, well, they make a giant crack in the earth, just like your hands did. If your hands were together and you pulled them apart, there's space. So that's kind of like the crack. And I found that on page 9. So I'm going to go over. My answer is C. They made a giant crack in the earth. I found my answer on page 9. All right, question number 3. What type of volcano has straight sides and tall, steep slopes? Mount Etna, a stratovolcano, a cone volcano, or Mount Everest? Where? So if I'm looking through and I'm seeing, I don't see it on this page, I can go to this one, see if you find it on this page. Pause and see if you find it here. Did you find it on here? Nope, so you have to keep going. Not here. See if you find it in here. I'll go back to our question. What type of volcano has straight sides and tall, steep slopes? Pause the video and find your answer. If you're back, you should have an answer. And if you were paying attention, you should have it right away because it's the first sentence here. Oh, my bad. A calm volcano has straight sides and tall, steep slopes. What kind of volcano? A cone volcano. And I found that on page 17. So I'm going to go ahead and put 17. Excellent. All right, ladies, this is the last one. This is your short response question. It says, explain the different things that might happen when plates bump into each other. So if I have 2 plates and they go and they crash into each other, what might happen? Okay, what might happen to them? You might want to look at this page, so you could pause this video and look at it there to help you answer your question. Maybe you'll look at this page, go back to what you need to do. Now, quick announcement, we are going to be switching over to Freckle mostly for the online assignment. So stay tuned for more information and look in the comments below for that Yale, you already know about this. Princeton, Harvard, this is what we're going to be announcing today. I hope you ladies have a great day and stay tuned for more information about that. Bye.